And throw out your scale, guys. Everyone throw out your scale. The scale doesn't help.
Yeah, please.
If you want to track your body composition, do it through inches, but do not do it through a scale, because I could drink this whole thing of water right now and my weight will change. And then you're going to start fretting over a pound. I lost a pound. I gained a pound. I lost it. Get rid of it.
Thank you.
Don't use it.
Thank you. Welcome to Persister with Candace Lowry. I am Candace Lowry. What is a persister? A persister is a little play on words of nevertheless she persisted, but also a woman who has truly broken through that glass ceiling and has really forged a path and a name for herself in whatever business she's in. Persister with Candace Lowry is a Castbox original produced alongside Studio 71. Castbox is the fastest growing, highest rated podcast app on both iOS and Android, where you can find all of your favorite podcasts. You can listen to Persister with Candace Lowry wherever you get your podcasts, but I hope you'll give Castbox a shot because I think it's the best. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Persister with Candace Lowry. I am Candace, and I'm so excited to have Alexandra Catalano with me today because she is a, blogger, nutritionist. You wrote a book.
I did. From
Beer Bongs to Broccoli. You have Eat Cute, and you're a TEDx speaker. So this, I feel like we're going to learn a lot today. But thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
And I'm glad, we were able to get you a seat.
They had to lower the seat for me because my feet did not touch the ground. So that's what happens when you're 4'11".
Yeah, well, yeah. I know. It's tough.
Times are tough.
So I'm going to ask a little icebreaker question just to kind of get us rolling into what we'll be talking about today. So this we briefly kind of touched on before we started recording was that being a nutritionist, what is your opinion on fitness influencers and health influencers really promoting these dietary products that are like FitTea or Skinny Tea or things that kind of promote rapid weight loss?
It's a tough question. Yeah, the icebreaker that's, okay. I think it really depends. I think it depends upon the influencer. I think it depends upon your body. I mean, look, ultimately my personal opinion is look, there's some great products out there that I've gotten sent that have been wonderful, that have made it easier and more attainable to eat healthy, especially if you're, if you have a busy lifestyle. That being said, the health industry is a $1 trillion industry and there's a lot of money behind it. And sometimes I am horrified. It's actually like a weird sick game that I do. I like to go to like supermarkets or anytime someone's promoting something, I'll read the ingredients list.
Oh no.
Yeah.
What are the like terrifying ingredients?
Well, for me, the number one thing, especially when it comes to, because mostly what I deal with is food, is I hate seeing any kind of sugar in a product that's promoted as a health product. That's the one thing. I'm not particular about what kind of diet. I think everybody is different, so I don't believe one diet works for everybody. But one thing I feel very strongly about is sugar, and I don't think it's good. Whatever diet you have. So that's one thing I'm always shocked to see in products.
Yeah, I see it all the time in like granola bars, fitness bars. It'll have like almost like 30 grams of sugar.
You might as well have a Snickers and have some fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you're going to do it.
Yeah. Might as well have some Snickers without the protein and just chill.
And just chill. Because a lot of those things, like, honestly, that's the biggest thing I see with clients when they work with me is, like, they come in with these bars. They're like, oh, I've been doing these bars. And I'm like, I'd rather you eat real food, a piece of sweet potato or eggs or, a porridge or chia seeds or whatever that might be, but food in its whole form. I think when you get into the ingredients list, you can get into trouble.
And speaking of that, I'm curious, I'm sure people ask you this all the time, but what is kind of your day in the life of food? Are you kind of the person that is okay eating the same thing every day, or do you like a lot of variety?
Well, hair flip.
I'm so excited. This is like all.
Well, no, okay. So here's the one thing I always tell people, and this is something that I struggle with myself. I think it's really important to vary your food because I think a lot of times we get into the rhythm where we have the same thing all the time. And I always say, it's like, let's say you went to the gym and you just did arms. Like you're just getting that same variety of nutrients when I think we should be eating all different types of things all the time and really kind of stimulating our body in different ways and giving ourselves a variety of different vitamins and minerals and things like that. So for me, normally in the morning, I don't like, and it really varies person to person, but I like to work out in the morning, so I like to do a fasted workout. So first thing in the morning is I always have a nice big glass full of water and lemon. Sometimes I'll put a little salt in there because it puts some of the minerals back into the water. But most of the time just water and lemon, and then I'll go do a nice cup of coffee after I've hydrated a lot, and then work out. And then when I come home, I'll probably have a smoothie. And the smoothie will vary, but it's always a combination of protein, fat, fiber, and greens.
Okay. And do you hide the greens in there well?
Well, you know what my new thing is? I've been playing around with the greens. I used to do frozen spinach. I think a lot of times people can be afraid of frozen food. But if you think about it, when we're getting our food from the supermarket, a lot of time it's traveled. So you're not really getting the same mineral and nutrient quality because it's been on a truck for we don't know how long. But when something is organic and they flash freeze it, it's frozen the moment it's at its ripest. So you're actually getting a riper, higher nutrient quality. So I love frozen organic spinach. I've been taking zucchini and steaming it and then freezing it, and it really creams up and thickens up the smoothie really well. And you don't taste, like I personally, okay, but I will say this. I don't eat sugar. I don't eat dairy. So like for me, when I have a smoothie like that, I'm like, oh yeah, so good. But maybe if you're eating sugar or something and you like a sweeter smoothie with more fruit, which is not something I normally do, it might take a little, adjusting.
Yeah, because you mentioned you don't eat dairy, and I've done a bunch of celebrity diets and different kind of diets, and I've seen that there's more so a growing trend of kind of avoiding dairy.
Yeah.
And why would you say that?
I just think that it's interesting. They put a lot of hormones in dairy cows, so I think that can mess with our hormones. That's why I think young women struggle with acne, especially because, our hormones are very sensitive. And so I think that that's just something to be careful of. Also dairy creates a lot of mucus in the body, and I think that can also be triggering in terms of acne.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm learning so much right now.
But let's say this. I think it depends too. Like, let's say Candace, you and I were on a farm, and there was like a cow, and we knew it had a name. And maybe I was cultivating that dairy in that way, and it was like really, really, it was perfectly made just for us. Sure, maybe that's great. But I think when we're mass producing things, that's when, it can get a little interesting.
Yeah. So are you like a firm believer in like the dirty dozen and keeping everything organic and
I am. I think that, it really does make a difference. And I will say this because I recently I did such an LA thing. I'm embarrassed.
No, tell me, please.
I'm so embarrassed. For years, I've been wanting to go apple picking. I've always wanted to go. And it's silly because we're all LA people with our scarves on, like, look, fall. And it's like 90 degrees outside. Yeah. But I went. And what was interesting is, like, the more I go to farms and I travel a lot to lecture to colleges and I end up on farms a lot of times, real fruits and vegetables are so tiny. Like, they look completely different from anything in a store. And they taste completely different from anything in a store. And so there's something to me about, like, quality. I think that's so important. I have clients that are vegan, that do paleo, that, do every which diet, keto, all the things. Quality to me is very important.
Okay. So, yeah, one of the questions I wanted to ask you, especially with your clients, is I know that I started a fitness journey and it was very hard to just get started, to change my eating habits. So what is your advice to someone who wants to just get started and kind of turn a new leaf in terms of just eating healthier and just trying to get their body into a healthy state?
Absolutely. I always tell people, and I think this is where Instagram and social media is amazing, but then can be overwhelming too. It depends upon how you want to look at it, because I love it. But I think we go, oh my God, okay, I'm going to eat healthy. So I'm going to do 5 days of workouts, and I'm going to eat smoothies every day, and I'm going to do, like, it's just too much. And so I always tell people, pick one thing, like one tiny thing. Like, cool, I want to get healthier. I'll tell you, guys, this is the secret to health. This is it. You ready? It's very breaking edge. Drink some water. Like, I'm telling you,
so
your life will change by drinking water. Like, we are made of water. Your skin gets better with water. Headaches, energy levels, you can speed up your metabolism up to 30% by drinking more water. So one of the things I always, with everybody, because it's something I'm working on too, like we get busy, but just focus on, great, today I have to hit this amount of water, and do it until it becomes a habit. And then once you have that, move on to the next thing. Like, oh, you know, maybe I have a lot of sugar. So now I'm going to just focus on that. So it's just one thing at a time, and make these goals really small and really simple.
Yeah, kind of sounds like it makes things a lot less overwhelming.
Yeah, because like I want to be healthy, like generally, like to me that's like a lot. But it's like, oh, I get these headaches all the time. You know, what can I do to alleviate that? Oh, water or better sleep or whatever that is. And just pick one thing and just do it one thing at a time.
Okay. Yeah. I am so bad at drinking water.
Should we both take a drink of water right now?
We'll take a cheers to water. So we've talked about how they get started, but I'm interested to hear about how you got started, because I was creeping on you.
Yeah, you were. Yay!
And you were a music major, right? So I see like this music major and then kind of shifting into nutrition, and I'm wondering what kind of inspired you to make that change.
Totally. So I went to a performing arts high school where we had majors. So I majored in opera singing. And then from there, I got into USC and was in Thornton School of Music as an opera singer, studying, which was great. When I got to college, because I went to an arts high school, so no shade, but there were no straight guys there. So when I got to college and there was parties and straight guys and like guys weren't making me musical theater mixtapes, I was like, I was in it to win it, right? So I was like, you know, I started going out and, you know, wanting to fit in. And when you're in college, you eat really, I mean, you know,
crappy.
You eat. I was eating pizza and staying up so late, not sleeping. And me, 4'11", even one drink is like a lot. So, so I wasn't feeling great. And the thing that I noticed when I was in college was I started watching my voice just go. And so I kept losing my voice. I wasn't performing well. And I ended up doing so badly in this thing that I was so naturally good at and loved so much that I ended up switching majors and having to graduate with a degree in communications.
Wow.
Which was really sad, because that was like all I had ever wanted to do. And so I started looking to get my life back together, because I was totally lost when I graduated. And there was a lot of information out there about trying to be healthy, and I couldn't do it. I mean, I was looking to a lot of magazines and celebrities and things like that. Oh, like this is so-and-so's diet and this stuff, and I wasn't getting results. And then when I started really going down the rabbit hole and educating myself and reading and learning, I ended up going to integrative nutrition, where I became a certified health coach over there. And it changed my life, because I said, God, this is so powerful. Like the things that seemed so unattainable to me were so easy to me, just because I learned how to nourish my body. Because I think a lot of times we go like, oh, well, this is Cameron Diaz's book, so like this is how she eats, so I should probably eat like this. But I think we all need to really like pay attention to what our body's responding to and how we're flourishing, and figure out a diet that's right for us.
Yeah, so when someone's trying to figure that out, I mean, I guess, you know, using your life as an example, you know, how did you find out what was right? Because I know that there's some people who live for keto and intermittent fasting, and it's just one of those things that I just like can't do.
And that might not be right for you. Like, and honestly, I think it's as simple as just like checking in. A lot of times people, they like to have food journals with calories and all that. I'm not really interested in that. I'm like, today I had a smoothie, this was in it, and this is how I felt. And specifically, let's say I'm tracking my skin, for example. I might be like, oh, okay, my skin was really clear today. Or, oh, you know what? It wasn't so clear, I guess. And then really look over time, over like a 2 or 3 week period, and say like, oh God, you know, every time I have yogurt, I start to get hormonal acne. Or, you know, I feel really tired after I eat breakfast all the time. And I'm going to be honest, like this is what makes my job what I love about it, but I think it was just maddening for most people. The things that work for you today aren't not necessarily going to work for you tomorrow. Like our bodies are constantly changing and evolving, and so are our lives. And I think sometimes we have to really pay attention to like, cool, like today I'm going to be recording podcasts all day, so I might need a little extra water, or I might need you know, a little bee pollen in my smoothie just to give me a burst of energy. Like every day we need to really look at like what we're doing, what our schedule is, and how food and lifestyle can support that. And really just pay attention to how you're feeling. Because if you're feeling tired or bloated or sluggish, something is wrong with the food that you're eating. Because food should not make you do that.
All right, everybody, I want to talk about Vistaprint. It is so important to have good business cards. I'm not joking. This has helped me get so many jobs, and it's so easy to create a really good-looking business card. Your next big opportunity is coming right now, and all it takes to feel like you're ready to own the now is $10. Now, it's a pretty low price to have the confidence that you're always ready to make an impression or get seen in a new way. A custom card with the colors, fonts, designs, and images that you choose means you can look and feel like a big deal, whether you're a startup or a business with a century of history. And it doesn't have to be hard. With Vistaprint, you can create a truly professional, unique card in minutes. So all you do is upload your own design or start with one of their professionally designed options. Vistaprint offers simple tools and a wide range of templates to choose from. Pick the paper stock, style, and quantity that's right for you. And then you choose your delivery speed, order, and receive your cards in just 3 days. Vistaprint uses only carefully selected inks and responsibly sourced paper stocks. Dozens of designs that are just right for you and your business are all on the website. You can add your logo, contact information, and anything you need with just a few clicks, and know you can use it on all your marketing going forward. Your satisfaction is 100% guaranteed, or they'll make it right either by reprinting your order or offering a refund. Vistaprint wants you to do something great for your business right now, which is why our listeners will get 500 high-quality custom business cards starting at just $9.99. So use code Persister at Vistaprint.com. That's code Persister at Vistaprint.com. Persister at Vistaprint.com. Yeah, and it sounds like it is a process, and that I remember there was this moment of, I guess, anxiety or panic where when I first started, I was just like, oh my God, how do I even begin here? And I know that a lot of people too are trying Whole30, and that's really big because it's kind of an elimination diet. Do you think that that's something that is okay to do and worth trying, or do you think that it's a little too restrictive?
I mean, I think it depends upon the person. Here's what I like the idea of Whole30. I've met Melissa. She's very nice. And it sounded like such a name drop. Oh, my friend Melissa from Whole30. She's very fit. But I think I hear a lot of people go I just got to make it through 30 days and then everything goes off.
Right.
Then they're like, screw it, I did it. Pizza and all these things. I think that might be a really great place for somebody to start or to live or do whatever. I think it really depends upon you. But what I find is I don't want people to I want it to be a lifestyle forever. I don't want it to be for 30 days. So ultimately when I work with clients, I'm like, this is the thing that you like to eat. How do I make it healthy and nourishing for you so you can have it all the time? There's no guilt. It's not restrictive. You're not counting and white knuckling the days you do it.
Right.
I think it depends. With sugar, I will say it is a white knuckling thing because sugar is. They did a study and they said they gave rats the option of cocaine and sugar, and the rats chose sugar. So that just shows
Yeah, I did 30 days without sugar.
Did you want to? Yeah.
The first week and a half, I was depressed.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to get out of bed because I was like, if I can't have sugar, it's over.
Yeah, but you see, that just shows it's insanely addictive, and that does take a lot of willpower and stuff like that. But ultimately, I want to create things that people can do for the rest of their lives. So I guess it just depends a little bit what kind of person you are. If you know, look, I'm just going to tell myself 30 days, and I know once I get through week 3, I won't even miss it, and I'm not going back. Great, that's you. Perfect. Awesome. But also it's just yeah, I don't know. My diet is very similar to Whole30 because I don't eat dairy. I don't do grains. I don't do any sugar except for natural fruit and stuff like that. But it really depends.
Yeah. And I think, now that we've kind of talked about nutrition today, how you treat your clients. Well, that sounded bad. How you treat your clients.
Some of them need to be punished.
Yeah. Okay. I want to take a quick break and then kind of get into now really how you use this not only as a lifestyle, but as a business.
Totally.
And moving forward with that. So we will be right back. All right, everyone. So I want to talk a little bit about Stitch Fix. I recently signed up for a profile on there, and I am so excited to get my box because it's all personalized just to me. And I have a ton of friends at work that every time I say, I really like what you're wearing today, they said it's from Stitch Fix. So I am very confident that I'm going to look pretty good when I get this box. So Stitch Fix is an online personal styling service that finds and delivers clothes, shoes, and accessories to fit your body, budget, and lifestyle. So just go to stitchfix.com/persister and tell them your sizes, what styles you like, and how much you want to spend on each item, which I actually really like because sometimes they give you these expensive things that I can't afford. So I really love the fact that you can choose your own budget here. So you'll be paired with your very own personal stylist who will handpick 5 items to send right to your door. Then you try them on, pay only for what you love, and return the rest. Shipping, exchanges, and returns are always free. So there's no subscription required, and you can sign up to receive scheduled shipments or just get your fix whenever you want. Stitch Fix's styling fee is only $20, which is applied towards anything you keep from your shipment. Get started now at stitchfix.com/persister and you'll get an extra 25% off when you keep all 5 items in your box. That's stitchfix.com/persister to get started today. stitchfix.com/persister. I will be honest with you, I have a lot of half-empty hair products because nothing I try lives up to its promise and I have very fluffy hair. But then one day I did try and find Living Proof. It actually really made my hair healthy and soft, and it felt really good, and it's hard out there for somebody with wiry, thick hair. So they approached the toughest beauty challenges with technology from MIT scientists. So I guess that's why it works here. So you know you're dealing with science, not just marketing gimmicks. From frizz to damage to fullness, Living Proof products do exactly what they claim to do without using silicons, parabens, phthalates, or animal testing. Like their award-winning dry shampoo that actually cleans your hair, unlike other dry shampoos on the market, Living Proof doesn't just mask oil, sweat, or odors, but removes them completely, leaving your hair looking clean, fresh, and ready to take on the day. So let me tell you a little bit about my experience. I have super thick, wiry, like wavy hair, and living in the South, living in hot places, my hair is very frizzy. And Living Proof actually really has helped it kind of get a little more tame. It's no wonder they've won 8 Best of Beauty Breakthrough Awards. Living Proof is delivering results that you can see from across the room. So do what I did and make the switch to Living Proof today by visiting livingproof.com/persister and use promo code PERSISTER to get a free sample of their award-winning dry shampoo with your purchase. That's livingproof.com/persister, promo code PERSISTER for free sample of dry shampoo with your purchase. livingproof.com/persister, promo code PERSISTER. All right, everybody, welcome back to Persister. I have Alexandra with me.
Who cares?
She's still here.
I don't know.
And I want to get into now talking about the health and wellness space as a whole, as a business. So you've made this shift to being a nutritionist, and what made you kind of say, I kind of want to, be a blogger and a speaker as well as a full-time nutritionist?
Yeah. Oh, so many.
Sorry.
I just love talking to a lot of people. That's just me as a person. I just feel, and also I guess it's because I wish I had somebody talk to me when I was in college, or because that's who I normally talk to is a lot of college students. I travel a lot. And I just felt like that was so necessary for me. And especially, this sounds bad, my parents forced me to be in a sorority because...
Oh my God, mine did too.
Yeah. Because, I just...
They wanted me to be social.
Yeah, they wanted me to be social. I was very shy, and I really dug my heels in. But I ended up joining. And the girls were very nice. But I just saw a lot of issues with, I'd never lived, ended up living in the sorority house. And so I was living with 60 girls, and you get to see a lot of issues with food and body image and all of that. And I just think, oh man, I wish somebody really taught me how to listen to my body, because I kept thinking something was wrong with me, Well, I'm trying. And I don't know about you. I tried every diet. I did the Zone. I did the South Beach. I did Atkins, where I drank shakes and starved myself. I had an eating disorder. I was throwing up my food. I had all of those things. And I remember feeling so insecure, so lost, because I had tried everything. And I just felt like if I could help at least one person, then I've done a good job. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things that's so nice and probably so rewarding, is being able to see people change. And it's like, my personal trainer that I had was like one of the greatest people I've ever met in my life, and made a really big change in my life. And I think especially when probably you are seeing women firsthand not really knowing what to do, and kind of like we were talking about, where I wasn't the skinny kid growing up, and you have these feelings like, is anyone else like me?
Yeah.
It's nice to have that person there. And I think it's awesome that you've been able to kind of build this brand as well.
Thank you.
And speaking of that, I know that, I'm not a licensed nutritionist, but anytime I make some fun, healthy recipes, there's always people that are like, this is unhealthy, this isn't like X, Y, and Z. And so do you face that sometimes?
I got a nasty note from somebody about bone broth the other day, and I was like, I was weirdly excited about it, because I'm like, maybe I'm doing it. Like, I'm getting nasty notes now.
I made it.
But I mean, I think that's what's so interesting. Like, I was at Revitalize, which is Mind Body Greens conference. And I even saw 2 nutritionists just like screaming at each other on stage about like, avocados are good. And they're like, no, they're not. Like, it was just like anger. So there's a lot of passionate feelings about what we should be eating. And I think what I'm working on is really just trying to teach people what makes them feel good and get the results that they want for them personally. Because, I have some things in my experience that I can recommend that might help, and we try it. But I've had times I try things with clients and they don't like it, or their body doesn't respond well, and then we try something else. It's really personalized. But yeah, I think if you can do natural food, that's a really great place to start. I think when we get into a lot of products, granted there are some products that I'm sure, gosh, you and I get sent stuff all the time. Like, there's stuff that I love, and if, when I travel, it makes it easier to keep my diet. Great. But, those are few and far. There's a lot that I don't like. Yeah. So, yeah.
Well, I'm like obsessed with Halo Top ice cream.
Oh, and okay. A lot of people love it.
Some people don't, because it has erythritol. Is that what it is?
Yeah. Some people don't like it because it upsets your stomach.
Yeah.
But yeah. Do you have an upset stomach when you have it?
My mom does.
Some people, yeah.
And so then it freaked me out, where I was like, oh my God, what is this, some sort of horrible chemical that's going inside my body?
I don't think so. I mean, I think it depends. I think if you're feeling really sick after you eat it, then I wouldn't eat it. I think in small amounts it's okay. I mean, I'm going to say something that you're going to hate.
Oh,
and
no.
I love it so much.
Oh, no.
I'm so excited.
You hate Halo Top.
No, I don't hate. Well, for me, I mean, I'm such a naturalist. And granted, no one, like, I'm a crazy, because this is what I do for a living. Yeah. But, like, I'm a big fan of taking bananas and freezing them and then blending them with a little unsweetened chocolate powder and a little monk fruit, and then you have like homemade fresh, not ice cream, but soft serve.
Have you ever used a Yonana?
What's that? What's that?
Okay,
tell
this
me.
is like a food. We're going off topic, but I have to tell you about it.
It's gonna be good.
Okay, so it's called a Yonana. I got this from my mom. You get the frozen bananas and you put it in this like blender thing, and it comes out like soft serve.
Stop it.
Yeah, and so you can throw in like other fruits, chocolates, but the way it blends it is it whips it up to
Stop
ice
that.
cream.
Okay, I need to, guys, we need one sent to us immediately, both of us. Yeah.
Yonana, if you're listening.
If you're listening, please send us free things. That's amazing, and I love that. That's great. But we don't always have the time for that, but that's kind of what I always lean towards, because to me, with a lot of products, they have to keep things in there to give it a shelf life. Right. And what is that doing to your intestines if it's meant to live for a certain amount of time? Granted, if it's frozen, I think it's different. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't looked at the ingredients for that, but I will. I'm gonna do some research for you.
Yeah. I'm gonna send you a follow-up email and be like, hey, can I still eat this?
Yeah.
So doing a little shift from Yonanas, right?
No. That's all I want to talk about now.
What would you say to someone who wants to start a food blog or a health blog or start helping people and really kind of creating a following of themselves?
Yeah, so this is what I would say. It took me a long time to kind of like figure out my brand and what it was. And I think the first thing I thought was I had to have all the answers right away. And you're better at this than me, so you can really answer this. But I was like, okay, I have to have the Twitter and the Instagram and all these things. And it just felt a lot to keep up, and I didn't know what I was doing. And when I felt what really helped grow what I've created with my brand Eat Cute is I always talked about what made me excited and tickled me, not what everybody else was doing or what was trendy. Like I'm like, today we're talking about freezing zucchini. Like maybe nobody cares, but like I cared, and I felt like those are the posts that I felt like did the best or things that like made me stand out because I was talking about it authentically and it was stuff that I truly deeply was excited to talk about. I think you can always tell when someone's like, I'm doing this thing, but they don't really care that much. Like they're just doing it to do it. So always do what tickles you and makes you excited and makes you forget what time it is. Like you could be writing a blog post and you're like, oh my God, I've been working on this for hours and I didn't even realize. Like, I think that's really good. And then, yeah, just also knowing that it's a living, growing thing and it's going to change. And I think that don't be so stuck of like, oh, when I first started doing Eat Cute, I was a vegan. I was a vegetarian. And I was so scared to like tell people that I was eating meat or, and I never like truly came out and said I was vegan, but if you watch all my recipes, everything's vegan. Yeah. So I think it's okay to know that what you start with might grow and change. And that's a good thing because we're people and we should be constantly growing and evolving. And that's part of being a good functioning human being. So like, don't be afraid.
Yeah. So going off on that, I feel like, especially being on the internet, there's a lot of ups and downs. I know with a lot of my friends, if a video or post doesn't do well, it's kind of like really affecting through your whole day, which kind of sounds sad, but it's true. Do you ever have those moments where you're like, feeling really discouraged about
every day? Yeah, totally. I mean, I don't know. I think sometimes I feel that way because you put a lot of work into maybe a post or something and it doesn't do the way you had hoped, and then somebody else is like #kittens or something, and you're like, all right, well, so that's fine, whatever. But at the end of the day, I don't know if you, I'm sure you get this way more than I do, but once in a while I get these messages like, oh my God, I tried this recipe and it totally changed my life. And then I'm like, yes, lady. Yes, lady in Wisconsin. Like, I'm happy to send this for you because that's all it takes. Like, it's just little steps. And ultimately, I think the goal of this is to impart information and give value and help people. And it's not about the likes, and I have to keep telling myself that. It's really about, creating a brand and a journey and being authentic.
Yeah, and that's also one of the hardest things is that, some days I'll be like, oh man, this didn't do well, but then you kind of have to look and be like, okay, but the point of what I'm doing is important,
Totally.
And that's what's
and
helpful.
I think I don't know if you see this, but like as you grow as like with your following and all of that, like me, I remember I used to post something, I get like 60 likes, I was like, did it. And now it's like, if it doesn't get like, a certain amount, I'm just like, but I think at every level, there's someone out there that's getting like 20,000 likes and they're like, only 20,000. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think it never stops. Yeah. I think it's just constantly, we're just trying to push ourselves to, get more reach and stuff like that. But ultimately, like, I think it's important too to look from how far you've come as well.
Yeah. Yeah. It is weird looking back. Having like 10 followers, be like,
totally.
Whoa,
yeah.
Okay.
Like, and at some point you were excited about that. When you reach a certain, you're like, oh my God, I have 100 followers. Like, what? And it's growing. And I think it's just important to acknowledge that. Like, oh my God, like I've really, and I think the biggest thing to acknowledge is like, keep doing it. Like, oh my God, I've been doing this for like 2 years. That's so good me. Like, I keep posting, I keep sharing. Like, it's a full-time job. Like, I try to post almost every day, like at least 6 days a week, and it's a full-time job.
It is. It's hard to be consistent.
Totally.
And it's crazy sometimes when people are like, "Where have you been?" And I'm like, "I'm trying to do
I just want to go to the post office, please."
I know. Yeah. I'm like, I just want to live. But in terms of, I've always wondered this. In terms of creating recipes, like, how do you do that?
Ooh, that's great. Let me say this.
Okay.
A lot of experimenting. A lot of tasting as I go. And I will tell you, I've had many a fail. My boyfriend will actually tell you I've had many a fail because I'm like, I've tried recipes on him and he's like, I don't like it.
This is not good.
Yeah. It's been bad. But then some are really great. So for me, I always start and look at the ingredients. So I'm like, okay, what is this recipe doing for me? So I always tell people, your spice cabinet is like a medicine cabinet. So when you open it up, it's like, get a good, like I always tell everyone, get Ceylon cinnamon, which actually helps regulate blood sugar instead of like cassia, which is the normal one we're all used to. Not great for you. But Ceylon, it's a little more expensive, but totally worth it. A good turmeric, a good black pepper, a really good salt, instead of like the white bleached one.
Yeah, is there a difference between table salt and
totally,
like Himalayan?
Yeah. So when they bleach it, like bleached cane sugar, they're taking out the good oils and things like that. And so it's a bleached white salt. So those are the ones that contribute to high blood pressure and all of that. But pink salt and Celtic sea salt are fantastic for you and have a lot of great minerals in there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, back on the recipes.
No, recipes. So yeah, a lot of experimenting, a lot of tasting, and just get really great ingredients.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've always wondered that. I'm like, how do they even think of these things?
It's
trial and error.
I take a lot of walks. Like, I don't know about you. I do. I go for walks. It like really calms me down and inspires me, and I'll see things and smell things, and that kind of inspires like, oh, I wonder if I could do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think moving forward, do you kind of feel like you need to think of ways to be different and innovative every day, or do you kind of take your approach with your business like a day at a time?
I have thoughts where I'm like, I need to be different. But then again, we're all different, right? So I always tell myself, I'm like, okay, well, what do I want to talk about, or what do I like? Because that's going to be an authentic post.
Right.
And I don't know, like, I spend a lot of time on Instagram because I'm trying to learn it.
Yeah.
Trying to understand it.
It's changing constantly.
It's constantly changing. And so I think the best way to put out authentic content is just to, like, really do what tickles you and, like, I want to talk about this. Even if it's, like, lame and not trendy, I always tell people, like, talk about it. And I'm sorry, you asked me something else and I totally forgot.
Do you think about your business more so a day at a time, or are you always thinking about the future?
I'm a big picture person, and my boyfriend's like, okay, before you, like, and I'm going to speak here, and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do this. My boyfriend's like, okay, but you need to send out an email first. Like, it's just like, because I get real excited.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. And then just for this final segment, I think just debunking a few things. I know a lot of my viewers and listeners are always interested in just finding out overall truth. I feel like there's so many different people with different opinions out there.
Sure.
So
yeah.
I'm wondering, coming from a nutritionist standpoint, are there diet or trends or myths right now that you think just aren't healthy or false? Or
what's going on? I'm trying to think. What diet trend? Like, keto's really big. I've seen some good things about that. I think it's like this. It's like I think quality and ingredients are so important. So I remember when Atkins was really big, people were just eating tons of like bacon and cheese and all this stuff. And I think that's kind of what's happening with keto right now. Right. We're doing like a lot of cheese and a lot of stuff. And to me, I think whatever diet you're doing, vegetable forward is always great. Because I remember when I was vegetarian, I was like, great, I can have vegan cookies and vegan cake and vegan muffins.
I went vegan for a week and I was like, I'm just going to have vegan everything.
Yeah. And I didn't look and feel great. So I think, vegetable forward is really great. I think that's the number one thing. So whenever you are getting into those diets, like nowadays, sorry, it's a long sigh. I kind of keep similar to a paleo diet, and there are some great brands out there. Like, I love Primal Kitchen. I'm not a sponsor, but I think they're great. they're awesome. But I think when you get into like, oh, these are paleo cookies, and then you're like, oh, geez, there's a lot of coconut sugar in here and all this stuff. So to me, whatever diet you're doing, just try to find the most natural, unpackaged way of doing it. Because honestly, if you're just eating meat or not meat, but if you're just anything without an ingredients list, I don't think anything bad is going to happen. You know what I mean? Like, I think it can only enhance your health. I think when we get into the packaged stuff, we get into trouble.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And
Did that
then-
help? I'm sorry. I feel
No,
like
it
that didn't
does.
help.
I
Okay.
feel like I'm glad this is recorded because I'm going to go back and really take some notes here.
I'm like, the answer is there is no answer.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. Goodbye.
And then just finally, what is a little portion of advice you would give to someone, especially a woman who feels the pressure to be thin, to look perfect? You were even mentioning about being in a sorority. There is, especially as a girl, and there still is, this pressure to just like be perfect, like inside and out. And so what would you say to girls and women right now that are kind of feeling that right now?
Totally. I think firstly and foremost, we spend a lot of time on social media, which can be really inspiring, but also really hard, because we're seeing a snapshot of like somebody in the perfect angle and the perfect light, maybe altered. And so I think our minds are a little distorted of what a person really looks like. So I always tell people, I'm really big onto going for walks, taking a lot of personal time, and spending time with like real people. I think sometimes when we spend so much time on the phone, like I know that sounds crazy, but like
No, it's
sometimes
true.
I'm like on social media all day that I'm like, I haven't talked to a real person.
Yeah.
So I think we have to kind of like recalibrate our brains to be like, this is what real people look like, and just really appreciate people for their gifts and for what makes them beautiful, and really changing that inner monologue. I think anytime I say something about myself that I don't like, I have to really change it and sit with myself in that moment and be like, why did I say that about myself? Because I think the things that we say about ourselves, no one would ever say to us, very rarely. I think we are so mean to ourselves. So it's really kind of recalibrating that self-talk and being very self-aware. God, why did I say that about myself? And really think about it and try to see if you can change the way you say that in your head. Because I think a lot of times when we look at ourselves, we're seeing ourselves through a very different lens than everyone else is.
Yeah. And I mean, I've found the most joy being with real people,
Totally.
and sometimes we forget that.
And throw out your scale, guys. Everyone throw out your scale. The scale doesn't help.
Yeah, please.
If you want to track your body composition, do it through inches, but do not do it through a scale, because I could drink this whole thing of water right now and my weight will change. And then you're going to start fretting over a pound. And I lost a pound. I gained a pound. I lost it. Get rid of it.
Thank you.
Don't lose it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That helps so much. So I don't like scales either.
No, they're the devil.
I feel like I could talk to you for like hours and hours and hours.
I know.
But
I know.
I just want to thank you again for being here. Where can people find you?
I live at my address
Send me
is 105.
snacks.
Yeah. I am at Eat Cute on Instagram, on Twitter, on Facebook. I'm at the Eat Cute blog, and my website is alexandracatalano.com because someone won't sell me Eat Cute. So,
Oh my God.
it's a man.
Thank you so much again.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for listening to another episode of Persister. I think that I definitely learned a lot. I am excited to make videos from this and move forward and learn, and I think it's been really inspiring. So thank you.
Thank you.
And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.